So this presentation was prepared in collaboration with the psychotherapist Marcus Adamson from Sydney, and I'm very, very appreciative for his help. Hi everyone, it's great to be back after presenting at the Sydney Brain Injury Australia Conference in 2022, following personal experience of an ongoing recovery from the severe acquired brain injury I survived in 1999 after being hit by a car. 25 years is a long time, and I now see the injury as my rebirth. With these past 2.5 decades of dedicated and exhaustive rehabilitation, after coming out of the coma and learning how to walk, talk, relate to others, and create a place in the world again, as a scenario I've described as being a second childhood. Also described in 2022 was the long, sometimes arduous journey traversing the many ups and downs on the roller coaster life turned into, with acceptance being the biggest loop-de-loop to negotiate along the way. This, especially as my career up until that fateful night had centred on being a professional dancer, then, at the time, on the way to China. Although understandably shattered by this experience, I've learned that not only time, but committed effort and belief in the capability of the self are great healers. My physical body and attitudes have developed with this perspective, and it can be even said that I now enjoy friendship with myself. Amazing. Likewise, the same feeling is extended toward my mind and spirit following an absolute refusal to be limited at the levels prescribed to me after the injury. Presently, I'm proactively engaged with the support and training organisation I developed, motivated by the empathy felt towards fellow ABI survivors in their recovery efforts. The organisation is called By Accident, and it was formed as a result of my frustration in the struggles undergone during my foundational years after the injury. Here I am recalling the lack of understanding faced in society, together with the isolation felt when attempting to retain or obtain regular friendships and the everyday support I so desperately needed, almost 15 years before the NDIS even came into being. Still, in society, there exists a great swathe of distance between those disabled and those not disabled yet. The NDIS offered a beacon of light and independence for a while, yet it seems typical misunderstanding remains and the not disabled yet unwilling to loosen the reins of control. Now, when I say not disabled yet, I'm assuring you guys, disability is coming. Better expect it. Anyway, importantly, By Accident was instigated as a consequence to my independent and in many ways solo recovery experience, having had to effectively reboot my life, achieved by way of realising most of my own health journey direction, treatments and self-recoveries. These relate to a pursuance of a holistic and exploratory approach to my situation, especially when the standard treatment options available to me were, in many cases, less effective than those I discovered. It all began with and was underpinned by the basic human qualities: self-belief, curiosity, determination, passion, and creativity. These characteristics effectively created the pathway for my recovery and remain By Accident's emphasis in relation to the practical actions they serve to support. During By Accident sessions, treatments are shared based around a combination of resources, training, mentor and peer support. This latter aspect, peers, especially driving the reason for being, leading to By Accident's formulation and its motivation. Further to my experience, and also the tales of my peers with whom I surround myself, what survivors initially desire is support and reassurance, particularly when in an unsure and vulnerable condition following their ABIs. By Accident seeks to cultivate this via group interactions through the medium of recovery-focused conversations. The dual online and offline training capabilities offer a wide array of supplementary holistic approaches. Investigated at depth throughout my healing process, complementary approaches to exercise, healthy eating, and meditation amongst active testing of many and varied therapeutic forms like Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine. In summary, the foremost ambition By Accident has, its success evident from the number of testimonials to be viewed on the website byaccident.com.au, is to act as a support hub and a resource facility, particularly at a time when ABI is described as being common in Australia. You know the statistics. 1 in 45 people having an ABI, and ABS data confirming over 700,000 Australians living with a brain injury that likely restricts their participation in society. What then can be done, and what needs to be done to tangibly assist these survivors, especially in a period when NDIS cutbacks are being implemented, with the federal government attempting to rein in NDIS spending? This despite not all survivors qualifying for supports. I'm one of those, even if they still need help. And just as urgently, what must be done to assist survivors to re-enter the workforce following their ABI experience? Public health resources are limited and, in my experience especially, limited in their capacity to attend to capabilities displayed before the injury. With private assistance increasingly ever more difficult to access, especially if one is not covered by insurance. Also, given the current crisis of cost of living. Subsequent to the title of this talk being Turning the Sky Around, the heavens conceivably now need to be reconfigured further to the oncoming changes following the recent NDIS review. And this alongside the ABI survivor application increase. I know how hard it is to get covered by the NDIS if you have an ABI. To be noted here, it is important to note that the NDIS assists but 18% of the disabled population of Australia. And this one-eyed focus on the scheme is leaving many with tangible need out in the cold. Grassroots experienced organisations such as By Accident stand ready to take up the overload set to ensue and shore up survivors' recovery with a view to assisting their return to employment by tailoring offered programs specifically to the survivors' recovery. Coaching delivered by my service stands apart from any special assistance, an offer claimed by most disability-focused employment agencies. Drum roll, please. By Accident has recently created a show online and it has premiered on community TV. Partnering with Melbourne-based film and television production company, E-tainment, another ABI-focused, resource-focused company has formed. Called A New You, the next stage of By Accident evolution, this next stage of By Accident's evolution presents an exciting development for my associates and me. We continue to focus on making these resources and programs both accessible and available to as many survivors as possible, and are now available and now able to be seen everywhere via the channels A New You uses. This endeavour has progressed through its formulation stages, and thus far several sponsors have been attracted at corporate and philanthropic donor level. Talks continue with individuals and stakeholder groups about the potential this medium may have in respect to their organisation's current or future aims. A New You premiered at the beginning of September on Channel 31 in Melbourne and Geelong, and a week later on Channel 44 here in Adelaide. Our website, anewyou.com, anewyou.au, no www, hosts the full-length interviews for viewing at your leisures. The main resource and support focus that By Accident currently emphasises will gradually become absorbed into and also much more aligned to A New You's technological undertakings. even if a physical and face-to-face participant relationship remains a quintessential part of By Accident's core activities, with particular concern to the organisation's support and training. This media emphasis approach is both a sensible and an obvious avenue to pursue, given the ability to create an ever larger and more diverse connection. And this is in order to practically assist greater numbers of survivors and their families to be better resourced when negotiating a survivor's recovery. And then, after that, when the time comes, a return to work, which is a hard task for most people with a brain injury. All in all then, this media-driven support and resource initiative is primarily concerned with effectively demystifying neurological differences and healing society's attitudes. We assist typical impasses, compromising an ABI survivor's full recovery, and galvanise the ability to look beyond the limitations visited upon us in treatment settings in order to act for our evolution. Mark my words, a new you is here to make a difference. Thank you.